See, we talked about Seneschal constructs and how that's actually going to be a big part of the storyline. People have been talking about it all this week with, seeing the footage of like, wow, it looks like we have these little companions with us now for season 3. So, Dan, can you talk us a little bit about, what Seneschal constructs will be for players?
So the Seneschal construct is a seasonal companion, and the seasonal companion is kind of the embodiment of your power chase for the season. So every season we try to develop a new type of power chase, and power is really important to our players. Obviously, this is a game about becoming super powerful and killing lots of demons, and we're always trying to find new ways to do that. So we really wanted to stretch ourselves this season and find a way that players hadn't seen before. And so that is how the Seneschal came into being. Now the Seneschal is this little construct. Well, maybe not so little, but it follows you around, and it has different skills and abilities.
And I will note, you can pet your construct, your Seneschal construct, but you have to be able to pet it. So yes,
absolutely
important.
Yeah, and so you can have 2 skills on your Seneschal construct. Those are given to the construct using what is called a governing stone. And governing stones are these semi-precious stones that you can find throughout your adventures in Season 3. They drop in a lot of those repeatable activities I mentioned, which we'll cover soon. And there's lots of different types. I think there's about 12 that you can slot in. We weren't satisfied with that, though. Because, 12 skills, it's cool, don't get me wrong. But we wanted to allow players really to modify those skills however they saw fit. And so we've also developed 27 different tuning stones, another type of stone, that you can slot in then to modify that skill. And so you've got those 2 governing stones, and then each governing stone has 3 different tuning stones that can modify it and just create really wild combinations of powers that'll allow players to experiment how they see fit. And so kind of with that breadth of powers then, you've got a lot of different options for being able to kind of round out your build and create new types of ways to kill demons.
Awesome. So, that's very cool. It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And I think we might actually have some examples and footage of what some of these would be.
So let me tell you what's going on here. So we've brought up our construct menu, and this is in the inventory UI, but it's its own separate UI, so your construct is not going to take up your traditional inventory space. And this construct has 2 governing stones equipped right now. One is called Focus Fire, which was that beam of fire that was coming out. The other one is called Lightning Bolt, and you can see it shooting some lightning bolts. Like I said, 2 skills, not too bad. You're killing some folks here. But we wanna amp things up a bit. So in addition to being able just to get stones as drops from activities, you can also craft stones. And so we've gone to our gate hall here, and we're crafting a new stone. We're going to see what we get. In this case, it's a pummel stone, a governing stone. I already have that skill, so it's just going to count towards XP, towards leveling up pummel. And I'm going to kit out my Seneschal a little bit different. So we've got Focus Fire, and I think the first thing we're going to add is Voluminous Support. Fancy way of saying that it's going to increase the area of effect for your attacks. We're also going to add Electrocution. Now, even though Focus Fire is a fire attack, Electrocution is going to add some lightning damage to it, and it's also going to add a little bit of chance of stun. And so now we're dipping our toes into this crowd control. And then finally, we're going to add Arcing Support. And Arcing Support's really cool because Arcing Support allows your abilities to chain. And so now let's see what that power is going to look like when we bring it back up. All right, so here now you can see that Focus Fire is chaining amongst enemies. You can see that some of them are getting stunned, little electricity around them, and it had a bigger area of effect. Similarly, if we were to apply some of these to the lightning bolt attack, let's say we gave it multi-shot in that arcing support, now it can just blast through enemies. So yeah, it's
so it
got a
kinda-
lot of options there.
So we're kind of seeing some examples of what players can potentially do with their Seneschal
Yep.
constructs and actually make adjustments and modify them to kind of suit your specific playstyle. I think a big question is like, can you actually add, maybe some status effects or things
Yes.
like that? Like, can you potentially add in a tuning stone that may make enemies like vulnerable, for instance?
Yes, absolutely. So again, we wanted to give all of you a lot of different options to play with. We want this to be a toy that you can experiment with. And so that means that, some of the examples we showed were more damage dealing, where the Seneschal is doing the damage. But then we also want to give players the ability to just kind of set up, enemies for you to go in and, land the killing blow. So there are a lot of different support stones that can make things vulnerable, bleed things, electrocute them, chill them. I mean, the list goes on. I
Yeah.
mean, pretty much any of the, the verbs in the game.
So your
Yeah.
possibilities are massive with
Yes.
what you can do with your Seneschal. And one thing, this is actually something that Sean White, who was in the video,
Yep.
our Dev Insights video before the actual start of the stream, pointed out yesterday on social media to players that were asking a little bit more, or for more clarity on some items. But the Seneschal construct actually does scale 1-to-1 with like specific like secondary type of stats, or even
Yes.
or things that are associated with your actual character. So things like attack rating or crit chance,
Yep.
for instance.
Yeah, it was very important for the Seneschal to feel as if it was an extension of you if you wanted to be that. Also, we really didn't want to get, a Seneschal that was just outclassed when you got to level 100, because then where's the fun, right? So, yes, absolutely, the Seneschal will become more powerful as you become more powerful.
Awesome. Yeah, so Seneschal constructs obviously playing a huge role. And with the construct and you now being able to customize and change things up for how you want to play, there's new challenges that are associated with the season 3 season of the construct, and one of them is vaults.